Surely the best movie of 1980 starred an actor named Leslie. It's true, and don't call me Shirley. Today's profile continues my theme on Illinois boys from the land of Lincoln. Very patriotic naming your car company after the president. This is true. Since my favorite president is already taken, I will choose my second favorite and call my car company Barack. Not call it a car, but a mobile, a Barack mobile, if you will. Speaking of Barry, today's show is another on a player born in Chicago and would make his MLB debut with his hometown team, the Chicago Cubs. What's different about this boy from Illinois is that he didn't sign with his hometown team right out of high school like some teenage prospects in the area, because Robert George Zick became a teenage soldier and went to fight in the war. So let's go. Like most Roberts, he goes by Bob. Surely his name isn't Zick. It is, and don't call me Shirley. Zick is either German or Czech, so it's 50-50 if he's Slavic or not. Born in Chicago, 1927, and like a couple of other Slavic kids, George Pictusis and Eddie Winciniak, who went to high school on the south side, Bob went to school on the far south side, Fenger Academy. He played right field and did some pitching on their 1945 championship team, a school attended by Elliot Ness some 20 years prior. Bob Zick was a pitcher who bats left but throws right. One of those not rare, but unique players that does this. MLB debut 1954. Some players have no information about their youth, not even what sports they played in high school. So I was happy to find an Arizona newspaper article from his playing days back in the 1950s with quotes and personal information. How personal? They gave out his home address and told which fire station his dad worked at. Right out of high school, Bob Zick joined the military, and when he was discharged in 1947, he came back home to Chicago and started college right down the street at the University of Illinois. He was there for a year and then said the place was jammed with ex-servicemen. There was no place to live. Everything was unsatisfactory, so I decided to quit and take a fling at baseball. I didn't know just how to go about it. Finally, I picked up a Sporting News and saw an ad by the Philadelphia Athletics saying they're holding a tryout camp in Fort Myers, Florida. I scraped together enough money and headed for camp in January 1949. The A's signed Bob as an amateur free agent, like most, but he didn't sign as a teenager, like most, though the 22-year-old probably wanted to. Instead, back in 1945, the 18-year-old chose to join the service and saw the tail end of World War II. Many who fought in the war for years, but really, it doesn't matter if you were caught up in the beginning, the middle, or the very end, or if you were there 3 years or 3 hours. It only takes a split second to get killed. We Americans have Veterans Day coming up, or did it just pass? What matters is that we remember every day these soldiers, many as it turns out were teenage prospects hoping to be ball players, but would have their life turned upside down as they left for war. It was just bad timing. Again, I point out the differences in generations, some willing to fight for their country while others fight against law and order in their country. Without enforcement of the rule of law, we are left with what we have now, Portland. In the days of real law and order, all it took was a baton in the gut or upside the head by one cop on the beat before it got out of hand. And you have what we have now, Chicago. Cops aren't even allowed to use the tools given to them. And I'm not talking about a gun or a taser, but the baton. When you crack one purple-haired black shirt in the head, it has an immediate effect on all the others who don't want that to happen to them. Cops now have to wear bulletproof vests. That's just crazy. There's a difference between peaceful, civil disobedience and violently obstructing the law from doing their job. Bob Zick was born just before the stock market crashed, and he grew up during the Depression and probably needing a lot of things people today take for granted. Many living in the Chicago tenements in the 1920s and 30s lacked indoor plumbing and electricity. Lots of disease and sick people sharing single rooms with no ventilation that held entire families in poorly built wood structures meant for laborers. With one constant, noise. Noise that didn't stop day and night. It's 1932. There's well over 3 million people in the Windy City. On top of that, you lack clothes, need heat, and want food. Surely it can't get any worse.
It did, and don't call me Shirley.
Because then came the war. Bob Zick, who was always called last in roll call throughout his life, went from hoping to sign a pro baseball contract to hoping he didn't get disfigured in the war. Not the Mafia War. That had been going on for 20 years. I mean the Second World War. Of course, growing up in Chicago, Bob grew up with gangsters' bullets occasionally flying around from Goombas in nice suits that had a mafia code of honor, as opposed to now, it's every wannabe gangster for himself with no moral compass. And why would he have one? No one else in his family does. The A's organization put the 22-year-old rookie on their Tarboro Athletics Class D Coastal Plain League, where the outfielder turned pitcher threw 49 innings and then somehow broke his left leg, missing months of baseball. He pitched in over 200 innings with the club in 1950, going 13-12 with an ERA in the fours, then moved up to Class B for 1951 with the Salisbury Athletics, again pitching in over 200 innings, completing 22 of 28 games he started, going 10-16 with an ERA now in the threes. The Chicago Cubs noticed their local boy and took Bob Zick in the 1951 Minor League Rule 5 draft and put him on their LA Angels in the Pacific Coast League, his first time in AAA. Bob had 4 starts for the 52 Angels and would start the 53 season with the club, but was soon sent down to Class A Des Moines Bruins where he could pitch more, and had his best season as a pro, going 14-12 with an ERA under 3, starting 29 games, completing 19 with 3 victories in the playoffs. Bob Zick was moved back up to Double-A for 1954 with the Beaumont Exporters, playing with Ed Kazak and Dave Hillman before being called up to the big leagues for the first time in May by the Cubs, and would now get to see what it's like to pitch in the majors. Unfortunately for Bob, while having his cup of coffee in the big show, he would never get a major league start. Surely he would look back wishing he had at least one.
He did, and don't call me Shirley.
Instead, his 8 big league appearances were all out of the bullpen and would soon find himself back in Beaumont. 1955 was Bob's last year playing pro ball and back again with the LA Angels, making 40 appearances, but was only 2-7 with an ERA in the 5s. Not good, but his ERA in the majors was in the 8s. Bob Zick played pro ball for 7 seasons with a minor league record of 53-61. He pitched in over 1,000 innings while in the majors. He only pitched 16 in the majors and pitched 1,000 innings while in the minors. His road to the majors was unique because not only did Bob not receive an offer from any team, including his 2 local teams, but he had to pay for his own tryout, and that's after fighting in the war. Worked out okay. His road got him to the majors the hard way, through the Great Depression and a couple of wars, a turf war in Chicago and a world war. He was only 28 when his playing days came to an end. Took a job as a regional sales manager for Verson All Steel Press. They made car parts for GM. After living in quite a few places over the years, Bob and his wife Betty moved to Arizona, where he was an active member of the Pro Baseball Alumni Association. And while living in the Valley of the Sun, Mr. Zick became an avid golfer who enjoyed many a round with friends and family while passing on his love for the game of baseball and the science of golf to his only grandson. And what do I always say? One grandson is better than none. The couple would live out their days that would turn into years in that dry Phoenix heat, with Betty outliving Bob, who passed away at the age of 90 in 2017. They have 2 daughters, Robin and Bonnie. I found this blurb from a 1954 Baseball Digest that told of rookie Bob Zick reporting to the Cubs for the very first time. And when he went up to manager Stan Hack to introduce himself, Bob said, "I'm Zick." Supposedly, manager Hack replied, "I haven't been feeling so well myself." Bob must have read that and was none too pleased with the words written about his family name, and later, when asked if that was true, they say Bob vehemently denied it, saying, "Absolutely not. I've heard about that story. It's not true. It never happened." Surely you don't mess with a man's car, his women, or his name. It's true, and don't call me Shirley.